I begged him and I sobbed and I said, you know what, everything that you said is right. Our relationship is total crap. I have been 1 foot in and 1 foot out the whole time. But just give me one chance because I have not been being who I really am. I don't even know who I really am yet, but I'm determined to figure it out. And we joke about it now, but I always said to him at the time, just let me play whole ass. And then if you don't love the real me, I'll release you with love. But at least give me that chance. And I'm blessed to have heard my husband tell this story hundreds of times now. And he always says the same thing, that in that moment, he had never seen that Stacey before. He had never seen the raw, vulnerable, completely open, I can connect to you, no walls. And he had this complete turnaround, right? Where he couldn't continue leaving with the same certainty that he walked in the door with that night, because it wasn't the same Stacey that answered the door that day. And so he felt he had no choice but to say, okay, I don't know what's going to be different, but go ahead. It wasn't like, let's do it together. Back then it was, if you want to fix yourself, go ahead. And I did. I wasn't doing it for Paul. I had hoped that it would change our relationship, but I really didn't know. I was doing it for me because I didn't want to live the other way anymore. And so I did. I dove in and I read every book and listened to every program. If there was a speaker, my butt was in the seat too. And I listened to everything on men and women and relationships and authenticity and being who you really are. And some of it was great and some of it was horrible. But I really transformed myself. And what I noticed was as I was doing that, he was really shifting too. And he wasn't doing any of the books and any of the programs. And it was a really long time. It's about a year later when Paul came to me and he's like, okay, our relationship is nothing like it used to be. We're so happy. You're so real. I'm so connected to you. Your transformation is inspiring and I feel like a better version of myself and I'm not even doing that crap. So what are you reading? What are you listening to? I'm in. And so for the last 15 years we have dove in. And we have invested multiple 6 figures and traveled all over the world to study with the greatest behaviorists and relationship experts, intimacy experts, to create what we now enjoy, our unshakable love and unleash passion, which is why it's our mission to make it shorter, easier, and cheaper for everybody else by figuring out and honing in what it really takes to create this, what works, what other people are talking about that I want to make sure you never do because it causes a lot of damage, the conventional wisdom, and really just give good people who want to do this work for themselves the best of the best in strategic tools, in a step-by-step formula, so that you can create your ultimate relationship. So you can't create it if you don't know what the hell it is. So answer these questions for yourself, because most people never think about. If I asked you right now, what is the relationship that you want? That's about what I thought. So answer these questions for yourself. What do you want most out of your relationship? How do you want to be loved? What do you want your partner to say about you to other people? What kind of an example do you want to be for your children? What are you currently teaching them about what marriage is by how you're living in yours? Do you really want to live with this level of love and this level of passion for the rest of your days? What happens when your kids grow up and leave the house and it's just the two of you? And most importantly, if you were living in your unshakable love and your unleashed passion, what could be possible for you? If 15 years ago, when my relationship with Paul was hanging by a thread, I never could have imagined the relationship that we have today. And we created the relationship that I just described in of this unshakable love and this unleashed passion, and using these 8 essentials that I'm going to teach you tonight, you can create yours too. So, are you ready? Okay. The 8-step relationship transformation system. I'm going to teach you all 8 steps. Step 1 of the system is to see your relationship with new eyes. Identifying what you must have and must not have in the relationship that makes your heart sing. It's all about creating a vision for your relationship, which is something that most of us never, I didn't think about it. Anybody think about that before they got in? Wait, before I say hello and accept that drink, let me write down my vision for our relationship and then I'll be back. Most people don't. But here's the thing. Unless you create the vision of the relationship that you want, someone else has a plan for you. And in reaction to them through your life, you'll end up in somebody else's version of the relationship the way that they wanted it, or something that neither of you wanted, or you'll be playing out the relationship that you watched growing up. Whatever it is, unless you get intentional about it, as Stephen Covey says, you can't hit a target you can't see. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And so that's about creating your vision, because that will determine what we do with the next 7 steps. Step number 2 is all about shifting your perspective. If there's one thing I know for sure, this year I'm actually celebrating my 20th year in personal development, 20 years training with my good friend Anthony Robbins. And if there's one thing I know for sure after all of that time, it's that until you shift your perspective, nothing can change for you. Until you shift your perspective, nothing can change for you. Seeing things differently, seeing men differently, women differently, relationship differently, yourself differently, your partner differently. Until you see it differently, nothing can shift. But when you have that shift in perspective and you're like, oh, I never saw it that way. You ever have that experience where somebody shifted you? Oh, I never saw it that way. Now you're open. You're like, okay, what do I do about it? But before, it's like taking the CD player. Now we don't even have CDs. You take the CD player and you want to play a new CD and you just ejected the old ones in there and you put the new one right on top and you jam it in, right? No, you have to switch it out. And until you switch out your perspective, it's like you're looking and what you see is what's on top. When really, there's a whole lot more going on. Now, shifting your perspective is like giving yourself a good haircut. It's not something you can do for yourself real nice. It's hard to shift your own perspective. If it was easy, it wouldn't be called your perspective. So we have created a lot of tools that we teach to help give you a shift in your perspective. And I'm going to share one with you tonight so that you can have that experience. It's called the 4 Levels of Love. It was actually originally developed by Tony Robbins, and we tweaked it and applied it to intimate relationships in a way that will help you relate to your relationship or past relationships that you've been in and see them in a completely different way. These are the 4 levels of love. Level 1 love is that selfish kind of love, where you're only in it for yourself, or they're only in it for themselves, right? This is where if they're not getting what they want, they're punishing you, or, it's fine, then I'm not, who gives a crap about you? I'm out of here, right? You realize, hopefully none of us are operating at that center of gravity every day in our relationship, but probably all of us at one point in time have been in a relationship with someone where we quickly realized, oh, so you're really only into this for you. Is that it? Okay. And that's a level 1 love. When the person's really only in it for them, they really don't give a crap about you. If they're getting their needs met, they're around. And if they're not, they're out of there. Or they're punishing you, or they're making you pay for it. And that's a level 1 love. It's a very selfish love. Level 2 love is an elevated level from that. Level 2 love is partnership. It's that 50-50 relationship. It's, I'll do this for you, and you do this for me. I want you to be happy, and you also have to want, happiness too. I'm here for you, and I expect you to also be here for me. We're in this together. And I don't know about you, but I was raised in a generation in the 70s where, like, that's what you wanted. You kind of hope that you find that relationship with that partner who would, like, do 50-50 with you, right? And it is certainly elevated from the level 1 love or the macho, crap of past decades. So it seemed like a really good idea at the time. Except that there's a really negative ramification to that level 2 love, that 50-50 love. That will bite you in the ass later. And that is this. How do you know if you're in a 50-50 relationship? The only way you know is if you've been keeping score. Right? I'm measuring what I'm getting back in exchange for what I'm giving in, yes? Isn't that 50-50? Because otherwise, aren't we 30-70 or 60-40? I feel like we're 90-10. Call my mother. So how else would you know if it's 50-50 unless you've been keeping score? Okay, so let me just eliminate that relationship math for you. Keeping score. This is what happens when you keep score. You measure what you're giving in exchange for what you're getting back. And you're in relationship with someone who is physically a separate person than you, yes? 2 people, yes? They're not you, they're a different person. And if they're the opposite sex, they're a different species. So you're in relationship with someone who's not you, right? So you give in your relationship. And you give right. That's how you would give. So it's right. Because you looked at it and you're like, yep, that's how I would have done it, said it, thought it, or beat it, and I did it, and it's right. And then they give to you, except they're not you. So they can't do it, think it, feel it, or be it the same way you would do for yourself. So they give to you, and you measure it against whose blueprint? Yours or theirs? Yours. And guess who comes up short in that math? They suck. Because that's not how I would have thought or done, or God, I certainly wouldn't have done that, or I would have done something, you did nothing. I wouldn't have done it that way. That's not how I would have done it for myself. It's human nature. By definition, human nature is we evaluate everything else based on how we would have done it for ourselves, what we wanted in our minds. But by definition, they are a separate human from you. They don't have your same blueprint. And if they're the opposite sex, they're not even wired to do it the same way as you are at all. They're not even supposed to. They're trying to just figure you out. And so here's the relationship math in 50-50 measuring and keeping score. You give like a rock star, 100%. They give to you and you're like, nah, all right. Right? It was either an 80 or it was sucked, it was a 10. Regardless, you're always receiving short of what you're giving. And you feel like crap. Because you're never feeling satiated by what you're getting. Because you're running lousy math. There is a formula for relationship, but it's not 50-50. It's 100%, 100%. All in. And so that brings us to level 3 love. Level 3 love is where you give without measuring. Where you give your love because you're a giver of love. You give without keeping score. You pour it all in. Kind of like my situation with Paul, where I realized this is destroying me anyway. Even if it doesn't save our relationship, I don't want to be that person. I just want to love. And I want to operate from level 3. There is a 4th level to love, which is a spiritual level of love where you love those, even those who have hurt you. You don't necessarily stay there and let them hurt you, but you leave with love, like the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa, who would I love the Chinese soldiers, I pray for them, even though they killed my whole family, and I'm moving out. And that's wonderful. Most of us don't operate from that as our center of gravity every day. But here's how we use the 4 levels of love and relationship. Check in with yourself and ask yourself where, not what you value, where have you been operating from unconsciously as your center of gravity in your relationship? 1, 2, 3, or 4. And here's what I will challenge you to consider. Most people, if they're operating in level 2 or level 3 on a consistent basis, when there's a fight, when they feel scared, when they're getting hurt, they'll drop down a level. And they'll go, if they were in 3, now they're in a 2. Well, screw you, because I'm not getting what I need. If they were in a 2, they'll drop down to level 1. You know what? I'm fucking out of here anyway. Had enough of this. Right? Or I'll show you next time you ask me for something. I think I know what the answer's going to be. Right? This is what I would challenge you to do. You want a magical relationship, a magnificent love affair? When things are really shitty, when it's scary, when you're afraid of being hurt? Rise up to level 4. Love someone in their soul for who they really are. Not who they're being in that moment out of fear, but for who you know they are. When you're in a committed long-term relationship, shit's not optional. Shit's going to come and go, right? Around our parts, we call it kerfuffle. There's always going to be some kerfuffle along the way. It's not an optional piece. So it's going to happen. And when it happens, if you can rise up to level 4 and say, I love you no matter what. No matter what do you need? Because I love you and I'm here. Instead of dropping down, the bond that's created on the other side of that moment will get you through so much more than you could possibly imagine. Unshakable. Those are the 4 levels of love. Now check in with yourself. Can you see relationship any differently than you did before you walked in here tonight? Yes. It's a shift in a perspective. And when you have that shift in perspective, you're ready for some tools and strategies to make a difference. And that's step 3, strategies. Now for us, step 3, we start going into hundreds of tools and strategies with our clients and our students. Unloading the truck of different things that you can do. And a lot of our tools and strategies focus on the differences between men and women. Because one of the biggest detriments to society that ever happened, it was the greatest thing in the world, equality. And the big bite in the ass is that we started thinking men and women were the same. Equal, yes. The same, gosh, no. That was the biggest problem that came out of that. It's funny sometimes, I laugh because when Paul's, we do all of our events together, and when he goes off about how he was taught that boys and girls are the same and you have to treat them the same, and he's like, they robbed me. All that brainwashing. And so the problem is that we do end up in relationship with someone who is opposite energy. It's not even necessarily men and women. That's a shortcut. It's really all about the energy. It doesn't matter what body you come in. It's whether you're a feminine or a masculine energy. It doesn't matter. Female parts, male parts, it's all energy. But there are differences between masculine and feminine. Wired in. We're supposed to be different. And what happens is nobody gave you the handbook. And so you end up in a relationship and you're like, where did that come from? Who taught you? Where did you learn how to think like that? Because we're supposed to be different, but we were never taught how to appreciate and work with those differences. So we work so hard to make each other the same, and we're screwing ourselves up. So I'm going to teach you one of the differences between men and women today. One of the strategies, to give you an example. So men and women are completely different, and we're supposed to be. And there are different levels of appreciating it, everything from understanding the differences between men and women, which is the first step on the spectrum of change. And that's fantastic, because if you've been unaware, you got to take your first step, at least understand it. And that's where most advice, or most recommendations, most books, most gurus will stop. You may find stuff on the differences between men and women, and you can understand it, and that's where it stops. And that's nice, but that doesn't create an unshakable love and an unleashed passion. Because once you understand it, you have to move into accepting it. Lots of people can understand it. I understand how screwed up you are. Our way is better. But when you accept that they're different and they're supposed to be, That's another level. And then you move to appreciating the differences that your partner brings, that you don't. And then ultimately, the last phase on the spectrum of change is when you can start to cherish the differences that your partner brings and the gifts that they have to give. And so one of those differences that I'm going to use as an example tonight is all around help. It's one of the easiest ones to teach. Here's the thing. Men and women view help extraordinarily differently. So in the male world, men don't want help unless they ask for it. If they need help, they'll ask for it. When you offer unsolicited help, a man can receive that as, if a man offered unsolicited help to another man, it'd be like implying, you don't have your shit together, I don't think you can do that shit, so I'm going to help you. Now the problem is, women offer help because we're trained very early, if you're a good girl, you will offer help, right? You need a hand with that? Can I help you with that? Do you want me to get the dishes, can I put the napkins out? Do you want me to get drinks? I'll get water. We always offer help, right? We're helpers. That's what we're trained to do from a very early age. And then we're put together with these big hairy guys, and we offer all this unsolicited help. What are you doing, honey? You working on that project? Can I get you something? Do you need something? Do you want me to? I'll just keep you company then. That's how I'll help. Men don't actually need company. Women need company. Men don't need company. So, we have this dynamic where you're offering help because you're a good girl, you're a nice person, that's how you've been trained. And unfortunately, especially if you do this consistently through time, he starts to receive your offers for help as, you don't trust me, you have no confidence in my ability to deliver, I'm supposed to protect and provide and support, and you're taking this shit over because you don't think I can do it right, or you're telling me straight up I'm not doing it right, which we will also offer to be helpful. And so, women, on the other hand, men have no understanding and no references for understanding that, pardon me, but women want help all the fucking time. All the time. Even if it's just keeping me company while I do my shit. So, but why will a man never offer you help and you think he's just being so bad? You are a bad girl. You are not offering any help. And I'm sitting here clearly got my hands full. Because he would never disrespect the woman that he loves by offering unsolicited help and implying that you don't have your shit together. Because he wouldn't do that to another man unless he wanted to get hit, so he wouldn't do that to you. And so we have this very unfortunate dynamic. What I want you to get from this, before I give you the answers, is that both people have the best of intentions. Nobody's being bad. Nobody's trying to hurt the other person. Trust me, the person you married doesn't actually have bad intentions to you. They're fucking hitched to you. Why would they want to do something negative to you? They're going down with the ship. They're on that ship. People have the best of intentions and still kerfuffle. They don't mean it. We're just operating with the only wiring we understand. So, ladies, you offer unsolicited help all the time, so maybe just stop that, right? Sometimes you have to bite your tongue, sit on your hands, go do something else. I'll give you my ninja phrase. Take out your pen. My ninja phrase, ladies, when you see your man doing something, is as you walk by, you say, if you need any help with that, I know you'll let me know. Love you. And you keep walking. Don't stop and linger. That's only going to lead to bad things. If you need any help with that, I know you'll let me know. Love you. That implies I honor you and I know you do have your shit together. And if you need me, I'm here for you. And I love you. And I'm walking away. And that honors his wiring for who he is. And men, please just start offering help all the fucking just offer the help. Look, you like to help, right? You're wired to do what? Serve, protect, provide. That's your wiring. Guess what? We're the best customer you're ever going to have. We want it all the time. We won't ask for it because our mamas taught us, unless the refrigerator has fallen on you, don't ask anybody for help. But we want your help. So just help all the time. And yes, keeping her company while she's doing all the things she has to do is help in her book. And I know that makes no sense to you. That's a whole other class. But do you see how there's these differences that are going on? It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. This is just how we came out. And if you don't know them, if you're not aware of them, the kerfuffle that comes from this can take down a marriage for no reason. And you end up thinking, this isn't working, this is too painful, I'm going to leave. And guess what? You bring you with you to the next relationship. And about 6 to 9 months after all the good behavior has worn off, you'd be like, shit, same problem, new face. Because you brought you with you without understanding that this is going on. You can choose not to participate in it, but it is going on. And there's 100 more, and we're having drinks. There's 100 more differences, just like this. And solutions. See, you're not stupid. Once somebody tells you, you can be like, great, just going to offer help all the time. It's going to feel weird for a while, and then eventually you're going to love it. You're just going to be like, yes, that's great. You're like, great, what else can I do? Awesome, I need a pen. Great, here's a pen. And it might be uncomfortable in the beginning, and eventually it becomes effortless, especially when you see all the positive ramification coming back. Good? Yes? Helpful?
Yeah.
Oh, please don't do that. I will reward you later. Step 4 is all about synergy. It's all about creating a newfound synergy to your relationship so you can stop keeping score, so you can go all in. We teach team as part of step 4 in our system. And team is not like other people use it. Team, when we teach it, is not like teamwork. Like you clean the playroom and I clean the playroom and the playroom gets clean, everybody does it together, yay. That's teamwork. That's not what I'm talking about here. Team, the way we teach it, is when I can't only use sports as an analogy, but I have seen football and I know this is how it works. So when they're playing a football game and 2 people are on the same team and the guy has the ball and he's running down the field and he drops it, does his teammate go up and be like, I cannot believe that you dropped that. Do you not know? Did we not work on this 4 hours? And everybody's watching. And like, what an idiot. You know you were not. No, what does he do?
Picks up the ball.
He picks up the ball and he runs with it. But what do we do in relationship? Do we pick up the ball and run with it? That's team. 100%. 100%. I'm all in for you, baby. I got your back. Let's go. I got you. I got the front. I got the back. I'm protecting. Go behind me. I got your back. If you drop it, I'm picking it up. We're all winning. That's team. 100%. 100%. It's not a negotiable piece or an optional piece to an unshakable relationship. In an unshakable relationship, your partner is number 1. Nobody can come before your partner. From there, you parent. From there, you love your family. From there, you work. But if anything or anybody is above on your list, above that partner, you've got trouble brewing. Because by definition, you're not unshakable. You're too vulnerable there. And so we teach many strategies for creating synergy. But really, it's about being 100%, 100%, and going all in. And it is a perspective shift because it's not common. But the truth is, 100% means all in. All in means all in, not all in when you're pleasing me, not all in when you load the dishwasher correctly, not all in as long as you plan my birthday exactly the way I expected it to be. All in means all in. No rules, no limits. You hear people saying like, oh, I love him for sure, but if she ever, I'm out of here. That's not all in. It's a commitment. All in means all in. I love you no matter what. I got your back no matter what. All in means you never speak badly about your partner to anyone ever. Ever. Does that mean you can't have an upset about your partner? That's ridiculous. Of course you can. But you don't go telling everybody about it and not honoring them because your partner comes first. You take personal responsibility. You work it out with your partner. You use a coach. You use a community that's doing this work too. But you don't speak badly about your partner to anyone. By definition, that's not unshakable. Anyone who's done that knows for sure that their relationship is not unshakable. And if you pay attention and keep your eyes open, you'll probably see it everywhere you look. It's become socially acceptable to trash mouth your partner and throw them under the bus and complain about them to get sympathy, connect, make jokes. Tell you what, that sympathy, that connection, and that joke will not be with you for the next 60 years. There's one person you picked to be with you. And you can't speak badly about your partner ever. Which brings us to step 5, which is all about starting anew, wiping the slate clean. You can't get to an unshakable love if there are things that remain unforgiven. And it's a piece that keeps a lot of people stuck. Look, I do this day in and day out. We're blessed to have served tens of thousands of people now. I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot. I'm not trying to belittle anything that anybody's been through with what I'm about to say. I'm only trying to serve you. The truth is that everything can be forgiven. Everything. What keeps people stuck from that is not understanding what forgiveness really is. So I'm going to teach that to you right now. We teach a 6-step forgiveness process, and it works really, really well. It's amazing to see people transform from things that they've held on to for 40 years, 50 years, atrocious, horrible things that have kept them stuck, and they release it. I'm going to teach you one of those steps tonight because it's the key to understanding what forgiveness really is. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different than it actually was. That's all forgiveness really is. It's just giving up the hope that the past could have been any different than it actually was. And forgiveness happens within you. It's a gift you give yourself. You release and you get the freedom. What most people mistake forgiveness for is amends. Amends happens between two people. Forgiveness is not saying, it's okay that thing you did. That's amends. That's something completely different. That doesn't need to happen to have forgiveness.